Hi, I'm Lisa Garr, and welcome to The Aware Show, a weekly show that brings you transformational tools and techniques that you can actually use today to inspire your positive growth and change in yourself and in others. Every single week, I will bring you new, cutting-edge information that will help you improve the quality of your life in any way you choose. Do you want incredible health, connected relationships, flourishing finances, cutting-edge science? Whatever it is, consider The Aware Show to be your trusted place for lifelong learning, because for over a decade, I have built trusting relationships with my guests and with my audiences. And if you're just new to The Aware Show, or if you've been a fan for a long time, I always encourage you to listen to your own truth and to stay aware. Hi, I'm Lisa Garr, host of The Aware Show, and I am standing in front of the coolest thing. Look at this. This is an aeroponic tower, and this is Kathy who created this incredible system. What's the name of your company?
It's called the Juice Plus Company.
Of course it is.
The Juice Plus Company.
And you can look at this as talking about power in the hands of the people. Look at, you can do this. You can do this in an apartment, and if you live in a city, you don't need a garden, anything. What is this?
The tower garden. It's an aeroponic, hydroponic growing system. So you're right, you can grow in a small spot, big spot, indoor, outdoor. You're going vertical, and so we're using a lot less water too. So we're only using like 10% of the water.
These little things.
This is the rock wool. It's what we grow in. You put your seed in here, put it in the pot, and plug it in.
Easy. It's called a rock what?
Rock wool.
Rock wool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then you put the seed in there, and then the water hydrates through the
system?
In the center?
Yeah, you put like 20 gallons of water down here in the bottom with a nutrient solution, and it pumps up through the center. Up at the top, there's almost like a shower cap. You picture like a shower cap coming down, and it trickles down on the roots of the plant, like here on the backside, and it waters the plants. And it's on a timer system, so every 15 minutes they're getting nutrient water, and then it'll shut off so they get oxygen.
And it's the
Aeroponic
same
and
20 gallons?
It just keeps recycling.
And how long does it take to get to this level?
It depends. These are probably about 4 weeks old.
That's it?
Yeah, 4 to 5 weeks old.
You can have an entire salad, this is like weeks worth of food here. And what have we got growing here?
Oh, lots of greens.
Yeah,
I like my greens. Chard, we've got spinach, kale, I've got some basil, oregano, down the bottom, cilantro,
amazing.
Parsley, you had the lemon sorrel, that was really yummy.
Is so tasty. Yeah. So now there's no pesticides, obviously, no, you don't have insects.
If you're growing indoors, you're not going to have insects. If you grow outdoors, you can still get insects, right?
Yeah.
But we get less because we're not growing in the dirt.
So gophers aren't a problem?
No. No gophers.
Maybe.
I never had a snail.
No kidding.
No. Maybe aphids, tomato hornworms, that sort of thing. Anything that's going to be airborne.
Yeah.
But if your plant's really strong, and we do some preventive things like neem oil, you're protected. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
And you could even put a net over it if you want, but why? Because you want bees and you want natural pollination?
I've never had to net it, yeah.
Can you do strawberries and fruits?
Mm-hmm. You can do strawberries. That's pretty much the only fruit you can do.
Yeah. That's fascinating. And now what she does is she chops this off and makes her green smoothie every day, live right here. You can act like you're a deer and eat right from it.
Have a bite. Take a bite.
Amazing. How long have you been doing this?
I've been growing in tower gardens for about 5 years when they first came out.
Tower gardens?
Yeah, the Juice Plus company has been around for 25 years. So I started with the Juice Plus product, and this is one of our newest products.
Fascinating. Yeah. This is amazing. What a beautiful thing. And to have in your kitchen, in your living room, you can even have them outside.
On your patio, yeah. Outdoors, I'm growing the big things like tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini.
Really?
We did watermelon last summer.
You can grow zucchini?
Oh, yeah. You're going to grow it down on the bottom.
Oh, so they can be bigger.
Oh, yeah. We did a little personalized sized watermelons last year. It was super fun. Yeah.
Wow, how fascinating.
Spaghetti squash. One of my favorites. Yeah.
And this is your own farmer's market in your own house. How does it get any better than that? How do people find out more about your company?
They can just go to the website. It's www.cc4tg.com. cc4tg.com.
Okay.
It's my initials and Tower Garden. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You just opened our eyes to a whole new way of a sustainable future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Have a bite.
Yes. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more shows like this. I'm Lisa Garr, and I invite you to stay aware. Hello, and welcome to The Aware Show. I am Lisa Garr, and it is a true privilege and a pleasure to be with you here on our YouTube show. And I'm just reminding you, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because it is the way that you get the new shows every time that we upload them every week. And so you get to see amazing transformational leaders. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. Dawa Phillips is joining me, and he is, talk about transformational leaders. He spent his life in the inquiry of, why are we here? Truly, why are we really here? And then spent 12 years in a monastery discovering that beautiful answer in such a deep way. And trust me, no one spends 12 years in a monastery without coming up with the answer. And then when he left that and decided to make his commitment to bring his true message of who we are to the world, he went to education and started to at UCSB and created an entire department around the concept of mindfulness that is now incredibly popular, starting trends throughout universities in the world, and a true new thought leader. So welcome. Thanks for joining me, Dawa. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Lisa. Yes, good to see you. Good to be with you.
Yes, yes. I just have to ask you about that incredible journey that you went through as a monk. What was that experience like for you? Tell me just a little bit about it.
Well, for me, it started as a child. I had these three questions, where did I come from? Why was I here? And where was I going? And I looked around, and everyone I asked didn't have an answer to that question, but just rather said, just follow the herd. Go along with the crowd. And that wasn't satisfying for me. And so I kept my eyes open for people that I thought lived courageous, inspiring, and meaningful lives. And I came across some meditation masters when I was young, early in my life, and then decided to train with one of them that I'd identified as just a very deep and happy person, and very, very impactful as a teacher. And so I spent 12 years in the monastery in France, training as a Buddhist monk. 7 of those years I spent in meditation retreat, really learning how the mind works and getting clear on the nature of our awareness and how our perceptions arise and how these perceptions give rise to so many difficult emotions, and how we can make better decisions and lead our lives with more meaning, more clarity, and also greater impact and greater joy.
From knowing you and talking with you, you tend to take a deep pause before you answer any question. You don't usually just talk off the cuff. Small talk doesn't usually happen with you. Is that intentional? Do you listen and have a different perspective? You really have a deep listening, Dawa. It's beautiful.
Well, for me, when I was asked to travel and teach by my own teachers, I really started rethinking about what that meant for me and how I could pass on some of the wealth of experience and wisdom that I've received in a way that would do justice to the people who had taught me, and also to the people that were really aiming to improve their lives and to experience relief from suffering and to become more functional in the way that they run their families, their businesses, and their lives. And so what I found oftentimes is that you have to put the person that's asking the question first and kind of put yourself on the back burner and really listen to what it is that they need, because ultimately as a teacher or as an educator, I'm not here to hear myself talk. That is not the purpose of it, but the purpose is to be heard by the other person. The purpose of communication is to be received and actually be heard and understood. And so I found that that has transformed my teaching. And it has really allowed me to connect with a lot of people around the country and around the world. And I find that does require listening.
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you, the microphone is, I feel like I'm hugging you because it's scratching against your fuzzy beard. So there we go. Okay, good. So So, all right. So in that message sent, message received, that is, I mean, we could talk for a whole hour about intentional communication. I mean, it's a lost art almost to really speak and feel heard and then listen. And it's just such a beautiful balance. I think I get to do that when I do these interviews because it's mono-focused and such a beautiful experience. So mindfulness, then you decided to tell me about how you got into education and how you created these huge departments. It's groundbreaking.
What informs my work is some transformative experiences that I have had about really recognizing the power and potential of the present moment. And what I've seen confirmed in the breakthroughs that we've seen in different sciences, from the physical sciences to the cognitive sciences to the medical sciences, is that we're really recognizing that the new frontier is the present moment and not the future. And so the way that that has informed my work also, and the way that we teach, is that we help people uncover the power and the potential of the present moment. And in that, they maintain their ability to plan, to strategize, to set goals, and they also maintain their ability to analyze their past mistakes and to learn from them. But overall, they're cultivating a deeper sense of presence and a deeper sense of access to their own capacities, their own resources in the present. And so the tool for that is cultivating a mindfulness-based approach to life and a mindfulness-based approach to leadership. That is what we're focusing on. And so that is what we teach leaders around the world, how to be more present. And that spills over into their organizations, that spills over into their relationships with their wives or husbands, and with their children, with their community, with their, whatever it might be. And so it's a beautiful calling, very satisfying. And it's all grounded in this growing understanding that really the power of our species lies in how we make use of the present moment.
Wow. So here's a question for you around the present moment. So when you think about fear.
Yes.
And where you look at something like a zero balance in a bank account, or a president who you can't understand. And, when you get to these things that are real, they're real, daunting facts in the world. Whether or not, politically who you voted for, sometimes he's very difficult to understand, our political system. How do you stay in a moment of presence when the minute you get out of that, there's that fact. There's that fact sitting right there staring at you. How do you do that?
Well, the truth is that fear obscures your perception and your experience, and thereby makes it much more difficult to see facts clearly, and makes it much more difficult to respond to facts skillfully. And so the way that you get around that is by recognizing that when you are in a place of trust, regardless of the amount of uncertainty and regardless of the amount of difficult facts in your life, you're actually better equipped to handle them, and you're better equipped to lead your life from a place of skill and from a place of clarity. And so it's not that somehow a mindful leader has less difficult facts to deal with, or that somehow the world is rosy or everything is holly jolly, but rather that she or he maintains clarity and doesn't get the mind overwhelmed with fear, and just thereby is able to maintain a better sense of equilibrium and clarity and ability to respond skillfully.
So that's so interesting. The facts themselves don't change. It's your response and clarity and perception of the facts that change.
And your ability to take different perspectives. Mindfulness is also directly correlated with perspective taking, which means that if we're constantly only circling in our own conceptual world, we tend to look at things again and again from the same perspective in the same way, and we come up with the same thoughts and feelings about our life and about situations. And so as we cultivate present moment awareness, we actually become capable to take fresh perspectives and to access new perspectives and to gain different outlooks on situations that may have been the same in our life for many, many years. So that's also something where we're encouraged to think creatively, innovatively about old problems in new ways.
Yes. And I know that, you know, you've spent your time as a monk, and now you're in this mission, a part of this mission to really transform the world through maybe technology, through different ways to access or deliver the message of mindfulness, and to make it something that is accessible to people. And it's not something you need to go to the mountaintop for, or that we, you know, necessarily can go to the mountaintop for. You're bringing the mountaintop to us, essentially. And yeah, I love that.
I help you understand that you're already on the mountaintop. You know, if you are alive today, you actually represent the pinnacle of evolution, which means that, you know, millions of years of human evolution have brought you into this moment in time, which means you're already on the mountaintop, and you can make your life miserable by not realizing that and not appreciating where you are and how you actually got here. And so we focus on education and on leadership specifically, because that's how we are able to leverage this expertise and these training programs and help children, youth, and young people earlier understand how to harness the power of their attention and of their awareness, and also how to help leaders use these roles and responsibilities that they have every day in order to positively impact the lives of others.
That is beautiful. Beautifully, beautifully said. Absolutely. So there's an entire program that you've put together. It's 40 different interviews with mindfulness leaders. And it's called Mindful Leadership. And I'm just going to have my listeners know that there's a link right down there below that you can click on. But before you do that, I want to have Dawa tell us and listen and be present. What is the Mindful Leadership Summit? What is that?
Yeah, so our desire really is to lower the threshold to entry for people to understand how they can transform their lives with mindfulness and compassion. Simple practices that allow us to get in touch with ourselves and also activate our relationships with each other, activate the connections that we have with each other in order to bring forth a more conscious kind of leadership that the world desperately needs. You mentioned some of the divisive politics, some of the struggles that we are facing in society, whether it's the economy or healthcare or education. You know, everywhere you look, it requires a different kind of leadership, a conscious, connected, integrated approach to leadership. And so this event brings together 40 of the world's leading experts, teachers, entrepreneurs, researchers on the topic of how to actually bring mindfulness and compassion into everyday life, into everyday organizations, into everyday institutions and communities. And it does so through a free format. People can join this event for free and then also own the content for purchase if they wish to download the videos, the audios, the transcripts, etc. But it's all intended actually to activate in your own life the power of mindfulness and compassion in order to help you become a more conscious, more awake leader in the world.
And there's 40 different people that are on here, but as you as well, are you interviewing the people?
Yes, I'm interviewing a majority of them. I'm co-hosting the event with a good friend of mine, Amanda Poor-Walsh, from a company called Conscious Marketer. Yes. And I'm also a co-founder of the event with Eric Forbes, who is the co-founder of the Mindful Leadership Summit in Washington, D.C., and the Mindful Life Conference, which happens every year. Those are in-person live conferences. And so we have teamed up to bring together this first global online mindful leadership training conference, and I am the co-host, but I'm also one of the experts on the topic.
Wonderful. So there's, as a part of this summit, and once again, you can click on the link below to register for it and to listen to it. There's audio meditations that there's a lot of wonderful gifts that people will receive as well by registering, right?
Yes, I think there's a total of over 35 different sessions, and I think over 20 bonus gifts, whether those are DVDs, MP3s, book chapters, guided exercises people can take into organizations or can do with their family. And there are also guided mindfulness exercises and other practices that are being led by the speakers, so that people can get started right away and implement these tools into their lives and into their organizations.
Fantastic. And lots of different perspectives. I noticed that Congressman Tim Ryan is on there, and there's also, as you mentioned, parenting, all sorts of different perspectives, leadership, education. Dan Siegel's going to be on there, who I appreciate a lot. He's a founder of Mindful Awareness Research Center at UCLA.
Dan Goleman is on it, Janice Martorano, Andrew Kyoto Williams. So it's a great variety, a well-balanced of speakers, many women leaders, also the head of leadership development at Google. So it's a fantastic group of women and men that have come together, and also quite a few minority mindful leaders, because it's really important for us to show up as a united group and to model a different type of leadership. I also, part of, you asked me initially about my own journey here, part of what we are trying to model too as spiritual leaders is that this is a time that calls for spiritual leaders to have more than just a kind of a lofty perspective on human life. We need spiritual leaders that have their feet on the ground and that are well integrated, and that can show how to live an awakened life with the family, with entrepreneurialism, and with healthy perspectives on social justice issues, And so we're also wanting to usher in a different type of spiritual leadership and encourage people like yourself and people all over the spectrum in all aspects of society, government, business, education, even the military, to honor that rising consciousness in themselves and to show up to help us reshape and redesign the way that we want to see our country and our world.
Yes, absolutely. I ask you for your perspective on this because it seems like you have a good one, but I've had this feeling lately that I think consciousness is really ready for this information now more than ever in a mass consciousness way. I think maybe this has been smaller communities and a little bit more, smaller groups of communities that have really talked about mindfulness in this movement. But I really think that this has become kind of a buzzword lately. So how do you hold on to the integrity of what mindfulness really is and get it out to the masses at the same time?
I think it's premature to try to put mindfulness into a box. As you know, we're doing a lot of research at UC Santa Barbara, where we've founded the Center for Mindfulness and Human Potential. And we're doing a lot of research about how mindfulness is best taught and also the impact it has on different subgroups, let's say, from students to children, to youth, to adults, to leaders in education, in government, in business. Because I think we're learning still a lot about how mindfulness actually impacts our personal development, at what stage of our development, and how it can best contribute to the way that we shape our society. And so I don't want us to rush to this idea that we have to quickly put mindfulness in a box. I think America is very well known for its ingenuity and its entrepreneurialism. But this show, I think, is a global show, and so the mindfulness movement also is not just something happening in the US. It's actually a global movement where people from all over the planet are contributing to a conversation that is going to, I think, redefine how we see mindfulness together into the future. And it has a long history, but I recently pointed out, the oxymoron of being too attached to tradition. A tradition is a valuable thing because it's designed to help us maintain, let's say, ownership of the things that have worked best in the past. But we also have to be open to the present, because what we call wisdom actually is only something that exists in the present.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. I agree with you. You are definitely on the cutting edge of this and someone to watch and be listened to. So if you are
watching here, just right down below, you can see the link. It is something that you want to spend time with, share with other people your knowledge, and really immerse yourself. I mean, it's really like a full course in mindful leadership. You can apply it to everything that you do, your family, your work environment. If you're an entrepreneur, we're all leaders. Every single one of us are leaders. You don't have to be a teacher or president of an organization. If you're a parent, you're a leader. If you're a leader of your own body, your mind is your leader. I mean, we are all completely leaders. So this applies to everyone. And there's a beautiful way of putting this all together for people to really embrace the concept of being a mindful leader. Thank you so much, Dawa.
It fits well with your show, you know, the Aware Show. I actually would love to ask you how you came up with the name and what it stands for, because I think it resonates with the work that we're doing with the conference.
I had a very strong vision, and it was a dream that kept coming through again and again of the entire concept of the Aware Show. It was a train, and it was a streamlined, it was a symbol of the future. I looked this up at the time, but one of those streamlined locomotives with the silver bullet type of train. And it was coming from somewhere and going very slowly. And so I stepped onto it. And inside this train were these control boards of audio pods and monitors. And here was the most memorable part of this was sitting at these control boards with these high back swivel chairs with visionary leaders swiveling around in a total state of joy, giggling, laughing, having just playful fun while they were in kind of monitoring this motion of this train. And on the outside of the train was the word aware. And it was all in this vision. And it is just gives me chills to talk about this, but it's so symbolic of what it truly is that I stepped onto. Even though I created the show, has existed long before me, and I'm the host and I monitor it, but it is a movement of awareness in media. And that is what I have done for 18 years, is conscious media content creation. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, no, I so agree. You know, I see myself as a servant of this chapter of our species, you know.
Yes.
And so, and that's just great. So
thank you
for sharing.
For letting me share that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Great to be on the train with you.
Yes, exactly. You're on the train when we're going somewhere.
Yes.
So thanks, Dawa. Have an amazing day. And thank you for sharing with my audience. Mindful Leadership Training Conference brings a whole new meaning to exactly what that is. So thank you so much, Dawa. I appreciate it.
Great to see you, Lisa.
Good to see you too. Give my love to Aranza.
I will. Bye.
All right. And remember, go to the link below.
And Taylor too.
I will. Thank you. All right, go to the link below. And until next time, I invite you to stay aware.
Hi, I'm Lisa Garr, host of The Aware Show, and we are standing in front of this beautiful aeroponic, beautiful green environment here. And I'm standing here with Richard Green. I just put that together.
How do you do that? That's amazing, right?
Anyway, Richard is an amazing, he brings first of all, he's a media consultant. He has done media forever. And
She's saying I'm old.
He has brought together the concepts around what's happening right now with our political structure, with our political environment, and where we sometimes in this spiritual community get into this place of helplessness around what we can do. So can you tell us a little bit about what you were talking about the other day around how we can penetrate this system?
Wow. Okay. So first of all, I want to say that I believe, and I've always believed, that politics is the fastest, most exciting spiritual path that exists. Unlike what people think, oh, it's dirty, it's corrupt, people are bought and paid for, I don't want to get my hands dirty on this because I want to meditate and do yoga. The truth is you can make a profound difference in the world almost instantly if you participate in a conscious way in politics. Look what just happened. But look what just happened in the reverse on November 8th, 2016. We went from Barack Obama, who was a pretty conscious green sort of guy, to a whole different consciousness, a whole different mentality. So there are a couple of things I want people to understand. Number one is that democracy is nothing more than a mathematical concept. It's a number. Think about it. In the old days, when there were monarchies or totalitarian dictatorships, the magic number was 1. When what the king or queen or dictator said, that's what happened. And then they had, a few hundred years ago, this new transformation, which is like, hey, let's have the majority of people do something. And so that means 50% plus 1. So everything that you want to accomplish in a democracy is a number. So for example, the number of people to pass a piece of legislation to make the world greener is 279. 218 people who share your beliefs in the House of Representatives, 60 in the Senate, and one person to sign it in the White House. And so every single thing, there's now this is the biggest challenge and battle and moment of this particular political moment. And that is the next Supreme Court justice. Okay. Is it going to be somebody, Neil Gorsuch, who is going to represent Donald Trump's anti-environmental, anti-spiritual, anti-choice, anti-gay rights, everything? Or is it going to be somebody else? And guess what? There is a magic number, and that is 60 people, right? You need 60 people to confirm that, which means you only need 41 Democrats to stop Donald Trump's Supreme Court pick. That's very empowering because there are 48 Democrats. So it's not like we have zero power. We just have to understand what are the magic numbers to do what we want to do, to stop the bad things, to do the good things.
To roll us back, which everybody's so upset about. So how do we do this? What do we do? How do we become that number?
Well, for which one are we talking about? What do you want to talk about? How to impeach Donald Trump, how to get legislation passed, how to stop his Supreme Court.
Back, Supreme Court.
Right, so this guy is 48 years old, Neil Gorsuch, right? If he is on the court until he's 90,
which
right?
He cannot step down, he will not step down.
Life term, right? He would be on for 42 years, which means 10 and a half presidential terms. All you have to do is, if you care about who's on the Supreme Court, communicate to your senators, because senators confirm Supreme Court nominees, and say, I don't want Neil Gorsuch. I don't want an anti-choice, anti-gay, anti-environmental person. Please filibuster that nomination, that confirmation. And if you get enough people to do it, it can be done. In other words, the point is, and I've written a lot about this in the Huffington Post, the point is we really do, the whole thing about spirituality is we have the power, we're connected, we are God, all of that. We actually do have the power, and I don't want anyone to get discouraged because of what's going on, because there's always a way to stop it. And if not now, November 6, 2018, the midterm elections, instead of just marching in the streets, which is a lovely thing, or protesting, register to vote, get everyone you know to register to vote, and make sure you turn out during the midterms, and then we can flip it around literally in less than 2 years.
Richard just put out a great piece on Huffington Post about the psychological profiling of Donald Trump. It went viral. It's very fascinating. Just search that out, and you'll get a really great article there.
I'm going to leave with one last thing.
Okay.
What kind of world would it be if there was a majority of Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warrens or whoever it is, or John F. Kennedy's? We have those people in the United States right now. We just need to mobilize around them, register to vote, and get them in office, and we can change the world truly, almost instantly.
Power is in the hands of the people. Thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.
Beautifully said. And thank you so much. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of these great shows.
This is how you change the world, by listening to and watching Lisa Garr.
Conscious content. All right, until next time, I invite you to stay aware. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Aware Show. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will give you some of my favorite bonus gifts. So if you want to subscribe also to my newsletter, you can find the link in the description below. Thank you so much, and until next time, I invite you to stay aware.